Well, December of 2020 has been a very eventful month for Omsi 2, reviving what has been a very aging game. And tonight we have some breaking news about buses of the Wesctountry version 3, another anticipated map for the Omsi 2 UK community. We're also going to talk a bit about the Masterbus Veiling Pack, something I've failed to do in previous news videos, and finally just going to quickly talk about the release of the add-on Irisbus Pack. Again, as usual with these videos, use the timestamps in the description or on the video to skip to the parts that are of interest to you. So first of all, the Omsi 2 UK community has had no UK map out for about 5 months, but now we're going to have London, and in addition we're going to have this released soon. So basically, some of you may have remembered I had said that I hadn't been much worried about what's happening with this add-on, but today the UKDT team, the developers of this add-on, this map, gave an official announcement. So basically, some significant developments is that this map will now be split into two parts, part 1 and part 2. And the main reason for this is basically just want to release what's ready and what's finished in the community, rather than the community have to wait for all of those to be completed when some are ready and some are still at least finalizing. What's going to be included in each part is not detailed here, but I'm guessing some of you may make speculations about what may be the case. The pack's going to include basically 4 bus routes altogether, the 35 for buses of the Westcountry version 2. Now, one thing to highlight is this is now called Wesctountry3, so it's no longer Botw3 V3, it's now Wesctountry3. It's also going to include an X35. People who've watched any of my buses of the Wesctountry version 2.9 live stream may remember that we do a 36X route, which just skips most of the stops. This is basically the same thing. Apparently it's going to use new roads. It's interesting to note whether these new roads will be just roads that aren't used by the 35, or they've been added into Wesctountry3 and weren't actually part of the OTW 2.9, also known as buses of the Wesctountry version 2.9. In addition, there's going to be a new route 12, which is going to run from Painting Promenade, which is the seasides, to a town of Stoney, and finally there's going to be a park and ride, which is going to run from the Painting to the seafront. And interestingly enough, this is envisaged to use articulated buses, or it's perfect for articulated buses. And for those of you who are wondering what bendy bus this is referring to, it's the Masterbus Veiling Pack, which is in development. More about that in a few minutes. Okay, and here it is, never mind. So this is part 1, so I think this is about part 1, and then part 2 we'll be adding a local Totnes route as well as another local painting route, which goes through housing estates to a supermarket or retail park of some description. Okay, so there you have it. I just didn't read this bit in italics. In addition, there will be a rural cross-country route ideal for short wheelbase buses. Okay, so there you have it. So this will be included in part 1, and this will be included in part 2. Okay, then this is just a bit about what bus is going to be used. So the pack is going to by default have the C400, or this is because it's the simplest for downloading and doesn't restrict people who don't have the payware buses. But then again, like with Stratchat, there's going to be custom AI lists that you can download if you so wish, or you can use instead. Some of the other features are false shadowing system. You're going to have animated waves as seen in the screenshots. You're going to have the boats animated as seen here, ambient audio, fairly standard, with good quality maps like this one should be, and approximately 3.5 hours of drivable routes. Again, I'm guessing this includes the 3 routes mentioned in part 2 as well. And there's some screenshots. Again, the links to all this stuff is in the description, as well as the Discord, so do make sure to join the Discord to keep on top of all the Omsi 2 news where I post all these links. And also do make sure to subscribe to stay on top of all the Omsi 2 news as well as videos of the latest add-ons that are released too, and other simulators as well. Okay, now moving on to the Masterbus Veiling Pack. So there was actually a major development about this in regards to this pack about 2 months ago, but as you may have noticed, I have not as of yet made a video about this, so this addresses this issue. So basically what's happened is the Masterbus Veiling Pack has been split into 2, and the reason basically for this is, according to the developer, which is mainly headed by Blue Orange, is that because the pack is so expansive, it just wasn't feasible to have it in one. Well, that's what they're saying anyway. So what's going to happen is the pack's going to be split into 2 versions. You're going to have the Masterbus Veiling Pack, and you're going to have the Classic Pack, which is basically the older generation buses. So as you can see here, you're going to have the Veiling 2, which is a B8 RLE, the Veiling 3, which is again B8 RLE. You're going to have this again, which is just a longer version of this bus up ahead. You're going to have a Veiling 3 Fusion B8 RLE. This is based off the Australian LEA, based off the Australian spec. Interestingly enough, it only has 2 doors. Most many buses have at least 3. Although the many buses in Dublin used to be 2 doors as well. And this is the bus basically that I suspect that buses of Westcountry version 3 envisages using. Wesctountry3, not version 3, envisages using on the PR route. You're also going to have the B7 RLE and a 2SB200. And then, as you can see, these buses are basically near completion. These ones are still in development. And then you're going to have the classic pack. The classic pack is going to include the Volvo B7L, Volvo B7L AE, a Volvo B7 RLE, a Scania L94UB, a Scania L94UA, a Scania K230, a Rolls Spec Translink Spec K230, a MAN A22, and a VDL SB200. What I do wonder is, in light of this pack being split into two, whether this will take priority over the Gemini 2 pack, because as you all know, they were working on a Gemini 2 pack as well, but that's in very early development stages, and whether that will actually come to fruition is another question. Finally, the last bit of news is, I forgot to mention this, well, I didn't forget to mention this just happened after I recorded the video on the same day. Basically, the add-on Irisbus Intercity Pack was released onto Steam on the 3rd of December, and it's cost €17.95, which is basically 18 quid. It's very expensive for a bus pack. It's probably the most expensive bus pack out there. Quite odd, considering Aerosoft tends to be the more inclined to go for these rather extortionate, well, dare we say extortionate, but rather expensive price points. Helicon the Air tends to be on the cheaper side, but this one here is obviously an exception. And then basically the reviews have been mostly positive, as you saw up there, but one thing to bear in mind is one thing that a few of the reviews seem to be reiterating is the fact that there is issues with the gearbox. The shifting is not correct and the scripting of the gearbox is basically off, but there you have it, that's just that. So yeah, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, do hit that like button. Do make sure to subscribe for more Omsi 2 news videos, as well as videos of the latest add-ons, as well as other simulator news, including Chansum, for example. And of course, do join the Discord, where you can keep up to date with all this information and get all the relevant links as well. That's it for now. Until next time. Okay.